Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah Sperber and I am a realtor in the Northern Nevada market. And on today's video, I'm going to be going over some hot tips for how to DIY stage your home. If you're thinking about selling it or if you are selling it, you're going to want to make sure that it really presents well and that a prospective buyer can really envision themselves in your space. You're not really selling a home, right? You are selling a lifestyle. And there are some key things that you need to know in order to accomplish this. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. This first one leads to perhaps some of the most difficult conversations that I've ever had to have with a prospective seller. There's really nothing worse than walking into a listing appointment and just seeing clutter everywhere. People have trinkets and family photos and laundry and just stuff. I mean, life happens. I'm not judging you or harshing you. I get it. And I always tell people at a listing appointment, like, no need to like fully clean or make it like showing ready. For me, I'm just coming over to like understand the condition of the home, see any updates you've made or improvements or whatever else. But I am going to give you some real insight about what needs to be done to make this sell the fastest and for the highest price point. So, with that, decluttering is something that comes up often. You want to make it the most blank canvas that you can, but also give some visual clues about lifestyle choices or lifestyle occurrences that might happen in certain spaces. So, you're going to want to take the big stuff out first, right? If there's like excess furniture, I've been in homes before where people like a couch breaks and instead of getting rid of it, they like shove it off to the side. Like, that's not what we're doing. We need to clear that out. Anything that's not functional needs to go. And when you're looking around at all countertops, shelves, whatever else, minimize what's on them. Take everything down that's not decorative or important. The next thing you're going to want to do in your DIY staging mission is to deep clean. And I'm not just talking about sweeping, dusting, mopping. All that needs to happen too, but once you clear all that clutter off all those shelves and stuff, you need to do like an actual thorough dusting. There are a few things that really indicate how well a home has been cared for, and people notice them. And one of them is your baseboards and your windowsills. And a lot of times people overlook that when they are dusting and cleaning. So make sure that doesn't happen to you. When someone's buying a home, they're often looking at the details, and it does depend on the buyer. I know a lot of first time home buyers are kind of getting in and just trying to like buy whatever they can to get into the market. And that's not a bad strategy. But people who are on their second, third, fourth, 10th home, they know what they're looking for. And I work with a lot of these people and they want the details. They want it to be perfect. And honestly, one thing I would say, and this is kind of aside from the whole other list that I'm going to share with you, is if you don't have the time or the resources or whatever to repaint your whole home and give it a fresh coat of paint, one thing you can do that really refreshes the space is just paint the baseboards and the windowsills. It does really make it feel fresh and freshly painted. Lighting, this is the next thing we're going to talk about. This is a super important one. Open spaces feel bigger when they are full of natural light. People like natural light. It's in our DNA. Like, we are animals essentially. Like, you want to open it up, open the curtains, open the blinds. Anything that's kind of dark feels really small. We don't want that when we're showcasing your home for sale. Neutralizing. Again, this comes back to the idea that we are trying to help a buyer envision their life in your home. So if you have made some bold color choices, if you have accent walls in crazy colors, or maybe some wallpaper that is not super neutral, you need to get rid of it. You need to paint over it, make it neutral. And this isn't always 100% necessary. It does depend on the property, the price point, you need to imagine who the ideal buyer is going to be or who the most likely buyer is going to be. If it's going to be, an investor and it's a fix and flip, like, obviously we're not going to be painting jack. We're going to be leaving it as is and letting the investor come in and do their thing. But if you are trying to attract, another family or another individual who's going to live there, you really want to make it appealing. Accessorizing, and this comes after furniture, but I'm going to come back to furniture because that's kind of a long one. But like, when you choose accessories, and I'm talking about throw pillows, paintings on the wall, like decor in general, please remember that less is more, and overcrowding spaces makes them feel small. All right, we're going to talk about one more thing and then I'm going to jump back to furniture, but you want to make sure that your curb appeal is on point. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to paint your front door a bold color. Another thing you're going to want to do is just tidy up that entrance area. It really is a first impression, and first impressions always matter. So you could think about putting some potted plants, a nice fresh doormat. There are some investments that are not worth making when you are getting your home ready to sell, but I would say splurging for 20 bucks on a new doormat from Ross or Target or whatever would be worth the cost, just because it does kind of give that fresh new vibe when people are entering your home. You really want to maximize your space, and one way to do this is to make sure that the furniture in your home is appropriately sized. More often than not, I see small rooms with big pieces of furniture, and that just makes the room feel really tiny. And what would actually be better, especially since no one touring your home is actually hanging out there, they're just walking through to get a visual, is when in doubt, go smaller in most cases because you don't want to crowd the room. And the exception to that rule is with area rugs, you want to make sure that those actually extend beyond the furniture in the room in most cases. That's going to make the room feel bigger. So, big rug, smaller furniture, don't overcrowd the room. Those are key takeaways with that. You also kind of want to go for balance as far as the visuals in the room. You don't want to have like too much stuff on one side and nothing on the other. Asymmetry is cool. I went to art school, but as far as like making a room flow and kind of encouraging the viewer to walk through it and feel comfortable, you want to make it very balanced. And like I mentioned, area rugs are another really good way to kind of define space, bring in some color. I wouldn't go too crazy with color choices. Neutral's probably going to be your best bet when it comes to area rugs, but this is kind of an inexpensive way to liven up a space. If your rugs are nasty, throw them out. And if they smell bad, especially, just get rid of them. Area rugs are not that expensive in the grand scheme of the sale of your home. That's one way to really freshen it up in there. If you could get some new area rugs and paint those windowsills like I talked about earlier, you'd be in much better shape than before. You also want to be strategic with your furniture. If you have any kind of like unique architectural features in your house, maybe you have built in shelves or cabinets, you don't want the furniture in the room to be competing with those elements. You kind of want to use the furniture to complement those and maybe even draw the eye to those elements, especially if they are in good shape. So keep that in mind as you are staging the furniture that you have. High ceilings are a huge selling point, especially in a small space. If the ceilings are high, that makes it feel a lot bigger, and you can really maximize that with design. Consider tall bookcases or lamps or anything to kind of accentuate the height of a room. You also want to coordinate colors and patterns. You don't want it to be like visual vomit when you walk into a room. You really want to make sure everything is coordinated, but like too matchy feels a little bit like kitschy to me. So you want to be tasteful with this. And there is a balance and an art to this as well. That's all I have. If you guys have any questions about the home selling process or buying, I can help you with that too. I would love to be a free resource for you. You can book a free call with me. There's a link in the show notes below. It's just a chance for us to hop on, connect, get your questions answered, and help you put together a strategy for your next and best steps. And if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week about the Northern Nevada lifestyle, the Reno Sparks housing market, and of course, all things to do with buying and selling real estate. It really helps me out when you guys let me know what you like, or feel free to drop me a comment below and let me know what other questions you have or what other topics you want me to cover, because at the end of the day, I am here for you. There's no point in talking to a camera if nobody's going to watch it. So you guys just let me know what you need from me, and I'm here for you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next week.